Dharma Bites is brought to you by Free Buddhist Audio, the Dharma for your life. Our work is funded entirely by donations from our generous listeners. If you would like to help us keep this free, make a contribution at freebuddhistaudio.com/donate. Thank you, and happy listening.
So the first way I wanted to talk about view is through study. And again, according to Atisha, the way we take up view is to combine three things: the practice of the Brahmaviharas, careful study of the Dharma, and direct experience. Sounds like a well-balanced retreat program. And you might be concerned that this means head down, no nonsense, wall-to-wall madhyamika when I say careful study. And I think we should be so lucky. And just because I'm standing here and you're all sitting there, I wanted to give you my favourite crazy example, just to show how much fun you could be having. Just listen to this. Something else is something else based on something else. Something else is not something else without something else. Something is not different from that something on which it depends. Something else as such is not found in something else, nor is it found in something that is not something else. And the editor helpfully adds here, in itself. Since something else in itself is not to be found, something else and that something in relation to which it is something else certainly do not exist. Nagarjuna. But the aim is not just wackiness, is it? Although it is that as well. But it's meant to stretch our minds further than they can go. Because if you can make concepts cancel each other out and hold your mind there, then according to Jung, you find out what supports you when you can no longer support yourself. And that's what the perfection of wisdom texts are after. And I had a little experience a bit like this, that thing of kind of getting things to cancel out and holding your mind there on a tiny scale very recently. And I wanted to thank her for this publicly, but Amarigita and I were involved in a chapter day on a particular discussion recently, and she did help me get a taste of this, because she was willing to be a sort of brick wall of reality in relation to what I was saying. She just kept confounding it. I thought what I was saying was so reasonable, but she just kept confounding my view. She just kept saying, it's not like that. It's not like that. Yeah, but it's not like that. And I went through this whole kind of series of mild irritation, frustration, disbelief. Come on, you must be kidding me. Agree with me. Whatever it was. But she just kept saying, it's not like that, it's not like that. And just being a complete brick wall, appropriately, I must say. We just ended up laughing. But also, I did have this sense of kind of softening around it. It was a bit like I just hit my head off it. I could see for myself. I began to see for myself the limitations of what I was saying, but that I was still insisting on in spite of myself. And it just kind of broke. It just broke. And gave way to a kind of softness, a kind of sympathy, a kind of openness. So thank you, Amarigita. So careful study, and this coming up against the limits of what we think. But as Lama Govinda says, we must first have reached the limits of our thinking before we're qualified to transcend them. Mm-hmm. So if thinking is exploring experience to a purpose, do we do it enough? Do we think enough? What does that mean to us, thinking? I suppose by that I really mean, well, how seriously? You see how much fun you can have, but how seriously do we take study? Really? How seriously do we really take finding out what the Dharma says?
We hope you enjoyed today's Dharma Bite. Please help us keep this free. Make a contribution at freebuddhistaudio.com/donate. And thank you.